really quickly and get some feedback from you guys before I go ahead and film for the day. So I just wrapped up a photographer mentoring session, and we were talking about so many things to do with photography workflow. And that is what my next series is going to be about. I'm going to be answering a lot of the questions that I've gotten from you all in previous comment sections and live videos, but I want to hear from you guys. What are your photography? Hi, Paulina. Hi, Alex. Oh my gosh, from England. I'm going to be in England at the end of this month, actually. I am super excited. So I'm curious from you guys right now, what is your current photography workflow? Do you have a workflow? Do you think that you are efficient in your workflows? Hi, Kristen from Mississippi. That is awesome. I love to hear where you guys are all from. This is so cool. From Romania. Awesome. Very cool. So I will be in London and Paris at the end of this month just for vacation, for holiday. It's my first time in the UK, so it's gonna be very, very exciting. So I don't know how to pack. I don't know, I'm like barely thinking about it right now. I'm just trying to get through some weddings. Okay, so Kristen said, I would love this series of videos. She needs some help. Hi, Jen from Los Angeles. And we have someone from India whose name I will not even try to pronounce. I'm so sorry. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I am curious from you guys. Okay, so Jen says tips on quicker turnarounds. Okay, so for editing, that is a great idea. I'm gonna write this stuff down, you guys. This is gold. You guys just hang tight. We're in my office. This is like real time, y'all. Okay. You'll love it. Welcome to the UK. London is great. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so when I'm in London, you have to tell me what to do there. I will be doing actually a photo session. Like my husband and I will be having photos taken of us in Paris. So we're not going to be doing any of that in London, but we are so excited. Hi from Yorkshire. Hi from Jamaica. Oh my gosh, Nikisha, that's awesome. I actually went to Jamaica on my honeymoon in 2012, and we are actually talking about coming back or going back to Jamaica soon because we miss it. Like, it was just such a cool experience. We had a blast. It was so much fun. Okay, so how do you get bright and airy images? I want to keep it consistent when I'm shooting in different types of locations. Yeah, so I have one video on getting a bright and airy edit when you have not ideal like lighting situation. So Nim Ann asked that. There is a video, but I'm going to talk about that more in my processing video. So I'm going to be doing a whole series on post-processing, so like workflow. So starting with like when my clients first contact me all the way to delivery of the images. So I'm curious from you guys, like, what are your biggest pain points and what are areas that you would really love to learn about in terms of like processing the images, getting your clients, oh gosh, the comments just like came out of nowhere. Hi from Ohio. Hi from Utah. Oh, Kristen, your sister-in-law lives in London. Oh, yes. Okay, guys, give me all the connections and contacts. This is awesome. Very, very cool. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys are looking forward to seeing these videos. Okay, how to educate your clients on what to wear. That's a good one. I'm going to write that down. So for engagement sessions, are you thinking specifically how to manage all the client info and their status? Got it. Awesome. I love these questions, guys. Very cool. Okay, so I'm also going to be talking about, let's see, how I prepare, like what information that I get before a wedding day, like my checklists and my questionnaires that I send to my clients to prepare them for the wedding and make sure that I have all the information, that kind of thing. So let's see, Paulina, packaging after delivering. Okay, so like the delivery of images. Perfect, I'll write that down. That's super helpful, guys. how to go about with multiple inquiries on a specific date. Okay, so are you thinking that your date is not booked yet? So let's say June 2nd, 2018, you get multiple inquiries, or if you're already booked and you get an inquiry? I'm just curious exactly what you mean by that. Okay, Nikisha says, I'm literally new to photography. Haven't even gotten my first camera yet. It's on its way. Oh my gosh, so you ordered one and it's coming. That's so exciting. So any tips would be great. I enjoy your videos. Well, thank you so much. My advice would be to find a mentor. Find somebody that can show you the ropes, that can answer all your questions, because I know that when you're first starting out, you just have more questions than you can even verbalize, honestly, and every question kind of leads into another question, so you feel this inability to like move forward and even grow your business because you don't know how. So I would say find a mentor. Check out Creative Live. They have amazing free education, and of course YouTube is amazing. Kristen said, have you done bridal expos, like setting up a booth? I've done a bridal expo where I didn't pay, so I was asked to come in because I had worked at the venue before. And so I've only done expos like 2 or 3 times, and I've never paid for them, and I've always been like the only photographer. So I don't like to do it when you're kind of like in a meat market and people are like, well, who's the cheapest? Because I don't want to compete on price. I want to compete on my style, my personality, and what I'm offering that other people don't, because that's just not going to be my jam, to work with clients that are only trying to get the best deal. So the shows that I've done have been really small, and that way I can actually talk to the couples, and I've actually booked some weddings through the shows. So I have, just not in like a traditional sense. Let's see. Okay, so Nim Ann said both. Like if 2 people reach out to you at the same time and are reaching out to book at the same time, who do you give your time to? Yeah, so I have that a lot. So I'll get emails and I'll let the second couple know. So like as soon as that date starts to pop up multiple times and no one has booked me yet, I will let my clients know, hey, you're not the only one that wants this date. I'm just letting you know it's first come, first serve. So whoever's ready to pay the deposit and sign the contract gets the date. And a lot of times I think couples think I'm like just saying that to get them to book, but then they come around and they're like, we're ready to book. And I'm like, too late, the other people grabbed it. So I'm not just saying that to people, but yeah, so I'll let them know that I don't hold a date without a contract and a retainer. So it's really just first come, first serve. Let's see. That's awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. Also, if once I'm booked for a date and I start getting inquiries about that date, again, I have kind of like a template pre-written email, and I let them know that I'm booked. But if their date is at all flexible, that I want to work with them, because sometimes the date is flexible and they just need to hear that I'm available the day before or the day after, and sometimes they'll change their date to work with you. So that's always just worth throwing out there. Okay, Kristen asks, how do you organize yourself from planning ideas to organize your computer? Oh, I'm gonna write that down. That's a good one. I'm just gonna say it, guys. I have a lot of notebooks, and my office is not the cleanest. Like this, I still have my gear out from my wedding on Saturday, and my desk is like full of notes, and I have lots of lists. This is how I like organize my life. So if you're looking for like super type A, everything's digital across all platforms organization, that's not really how I roll. These are like my actual booking calendars for, I think even last year's is still up there. I just try to use booking. I have client management software for my clients so that I can organize my invoicing and my contracts and everything legal. So I use HoneyBook. I have a video about it actually that has a referral code. I think there's like a discount for you guys. So if you go to my video that's like wedding photography tips and softwares, you'll be able to find that. So I really recommend getting client management software. Okay. What is a good camera for videotaping a wedding day? That's a great question. I think like I'm not a videographer, so I know my videography friends all have like Canon 5D Mark IIIs. Video is really different than still, obviously. So my cameras, I think, are like 1080p video, but I got them for the sensor for stills. So I'm not the right person to ask for video. I'm sorry. Do you shoot with any camera lights? Paulina asks. Yeah, I have a video light, so I'll show you guys. I have a video light here. This is it's from Amazon. It's by Generary or something. It's probably backwards for you guys, but it's linked in the What's in My Camera Bag video. I do shoot with that, and I also shoot with strobes. So I have the Nikon SB910s. I have those, and I use those for my off-camera flash. How many hours do you invest in your business weekly? Karina asks. That's a great question. I'm full-time in photography, so probably at least 40. When I am shooting weddings, so right now during wedding season, I take a weekday off. So because I work weekends, nights and weekends, I make sure that I have a weekend day off as if I were at a traditional job, or just so that I'm not working every single day. So I'm trying to be really intentional to take time off, but it can be really hard with editing and keeping up and that kind of thing. So that's why it's really important to be efficient and intentional with your time and your workflow. So that's why I'm doing a workflow series, and I'm really curious what you guys want to know from me in that series. So yeah, if you guys have questions about workflow and efficiency and staying on top of things, I would love to hear those. So yeah, so for hours, I would say my general office hours are during the week 9 to 3. I also have shoots in the evenings. I have shoots on weekends. I have bridal meetings, and I do mentorship. So I mentor photographers one-on-one. So I just got back from mentorship just now, actually. I just got back to the office. So I was out, and we were at like a Panera, and we were basically going over a fellow photographer's like game plan for the year and marketing plan. We were talking a lot about Instagram, and I was also talking about Instagram in my newsletter today, guys. So if you're not on my newsletter, click over to my profile, subscribe. First of all, subscribe. Second, hop on the newsletter. I give out so much free education, and this week was all about Instagram and how I attract brides, not just like getting followers, but like booking brides through Instagram, because that's one of my main avenues, and it's free marketing, guys. So that's what I talked about this week. Okay, let's see. Next question. How do you plan your social media posts? Most photographers I follow have a good mix of ring shots, bridal shots, flat lays. Do you have a pattern that works for you? Yeah, I do. So I try to stick to like, there's personal, there's travel, there's my dog, there's business, that kind of thing. It can be really hard to keep up with. I use apps. I have Plan, the app Plan. I've tried Planoly, and I'm going to be trying out Hootsuite for like all my social media moving forward, just because I'm going to be traveling so much this summer. So like the end of this month, next month, and I'll be traveling again in August. So I'm just trying to stay consistent and current even when I'm traveling. So I'm going to be batch writing my newsletters, making sure that you guys have amazing education every single week, even when I'm traveling. So I'm going to be using Hootsuite for scheduling, and I currently use Plan to do Instagram. Paulina says, Honeybook, check it out. Yeah, Honeybook is awesome. So Honeybook is where I manage like all my questionnaires, contracts, invoicing, everything. That's just kind of all in one place. And I can add my second shooters to the workspace so that I can show my second shooters, hey, this is the questionnaire, here's their family formals printed out. It just really helps me stay on top of all these things so I don't have to organize the files, because it's crazy. Okay, so I have a question here. What capacity memory cards do you take for a wedding, and how many? 32 gig. I use 2 in each camera body, and I shoot on 2 bodies at the same time. Typically, I will fill that up by the end of the reception almost exactly, so they can fit around 1,000 images on each one, just because the file sizes are not massive on the D610. But sometimes I will flow into another card. So I bring lots. I bring like 16 extra cards. So I never want to be in a position where I don't have extra batteries, I don't have extra cards, I don't have extra everything. So I shoot on 32 gigs, but normally I don't need anything else. I can just get home and I will have 4 memory cards from the entirety of the wedding day, 2 from each camera body. Let's see, what do you use for video? Sorry guys, I'm really behind in questions. Alex said, when you were starting up, did you obtain guidance in legal aspects? Yeah, I did. I know it's different in the US. Yeah, so I was actually just reading about this, but yeah, my business is formed as an LLC, so it's separate from me personally. So that just protects like my personal assets and me personally against anything that could ever happen with a client suing me, that they can't come after me personally. And I went through a lawyer for that. So I had a lawyer set up my business entity, and that's really just you file it, you send it to your state and to the government, and you kind of go from there. Josh, hey, how's it going? Guys, everyone go follow Josh Binder. That's my little bro. He's the one who taught me everything I know about YouTube. All right, what's the next question? Has having a YouTube channel helped you gain new clientele? So, I mean, it's really new, guys. I just started doing this, Kristen, in like January. So it's all brand new, having YouTube and doing live and stuff. I think it has really helped me find mentor clients, connect with you guys. So maybe so far, not brides, but other photographers. So really just being able to connect and educate with you guys, it has been amazing. And just getting the messages from you guys on Instagram, I've been getting so many emails from you guys. It's just been really, really encouraging. So I'm sure eventually, as the snowball kind of gains momentum, I will have brides that book me through here. And I would just love to work weddings in other states and other countries, and I think that will happen eventually. But this is all super brand new, Kristen. This is like, I don't know. I've only been doing this for like 3 months, I guess it's been 4 or 5. I don't know. It's been a weird time warp, but I love it. So I'm going to keep going with it. Okay, so they have a question. What is your backup process like when you get home from a wedding? So I go ahead and I throw all the files, so all the raw, I shoot in RAW, and I go ahead and put all the raw on my computer, and I copy it to an external hard drive and a cloud backup, so it goes up into the internet, and I keep the cards. So it's photographed on 2 SD cards, so it has a redundancy built in, and then I put it on a backup hard drive and a cloud. So at that point there are 4 copies. So I will not format those memory cards, either one, until the wedding is completely edited, delivered, and high-res JPEGs are backed up on the hard drive and a cloud and in a gallery. So many, many, many things could go wrong, and I will be covered. So you guys you got to be super careful and back up your work like crazy, because you never know when a card will corrupt. I've had files like get super messed up, but it didn't matter because I had backups in place. So it's super, super important, especially with something like a wedding day. You can't redo it, so you have to have that stuff in place. Heather asked, do you have a studio? And if you do, what is the lighting system you use? I don't. This is just my office, so this is just in my house. That's where I film my YouTube videos. And this is where I do my editing, and I just have like canvases and stuff up. I don't have a studio. I take flashes, just Nikon SB910s on shoots when I'm on site, but I don't have a formal studio. I would love to one day have a space, just like a really raw, like industrial space where I could bring in like high back couches and stuff like that, especially since it gets really cold here in the winter and I can't do much shooting. It would be great to have a space inside for clients and portraits, but Heather, that is my dream one day. Okay, so Jen said, so you allow your clients to select the images for their album, or do you design them yourself? They do select the images. So I use Pixieset for my galleries. That's how I deliver my high resolution images. And in order for me to design the album, I just have them go through and make a favorites list. So they can make a favorites list, and they can, I think it just names it based on their email address, but I just tell them to favorite like 20 images that they have to have in their album. And then I tell them that, of course, from there, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna supplementally add, and I'm gonna make sure that there's details and stuff like that. And that's that's how I begin the process. So I like to use their favorites when I'm first starting, and then I send them a draft. Okay, Nikisha said, do you think the Nikon 3400 is a good camera to start with? I'm not familiar with that camera. I'm pretty sure it's a crop sensor. I'm sure it's great. I think more importantly, just learning how to shoot on manual immediately is going to be your best bet for learning photography in general. I think just whatever system you choose, you're just going to want to choose Nikon, Canon, Sony, whichever family, and then kind of stick with it, because it's really hard whenever you're already invested in full frame camera bodies and full frame lenses once you go pro to switch over. So I would say rent, borrow, just shoot on whatever you can, even going to like a local camera store and just trying them and holding them, because it really is just personal preference of like what color profiles you prefer and how it feels in your hands. So that's my best advice, because that's what I did. I went to a couple different camera stores and I just fell in love with the Nikon system, and then I stuck with Nikon. Okay. Next question. Do you have any suggestions on how to go about this? Wait, I think I missed the first one. I have found many of my brides take a really long time after their wedding to actually select their images. Yeah, so I guess I can't go in there and like strong arm them into selecting their images, but I do tell them that in the contract, I have some things about how long after the wedding day they need to make their selection. So I just send a reminder. I think in my contract it says that if they wait too long, like if it's been like 6 months or a year, that they may be subject to a price increase because my labs may change or things may cost more if it's been like a year or two since their wedding. So I try to just remind them. I also give my clients the option to not select the images. I tell them that I can just artist design it, and a lot of times they want that. If they're not getting back to me, it's because they don't have time and they trust me as an artist and they want me to do it. So I just tell them, if you don't want to go through this process and you don't want to pick all these images out, I will do it. I will design it storyboard style, starting with you getting ready, ending with your send off. And a lot of times my couples are like, yes, please do that. Thank you. Okay. Alex said, great advice. Thank you, Alex. Kristen, awesome, so grateful for you. Grateful for you, Kristen. You guys are awesome. Do you create Lightroom catalogs for each wedding? I do, and then I'm able to put that in a folder. So in each client will get a folder that has their catalog, their RAWs, and their selects, and then eventually the high resolution JPEGs. Let's see. Some more ideas regarding workflow. Yes, thank you guys. Keep giving me your suggestions and questions regarding workflow for booking clients, editing, all of this, because I need your ideas. All right, what's the best place for prints and packaging? How long do you keep backups? That's a good question. I'm gonna write that down. All right, guys, if you're just getting here and you're wondering why I'm not talking, I'm taking your guys' suggestions and questions, just trying to figure out, sorry, I'm a hot mess. I'm just trying to figure out what your questions are about workflow. So I am writing down your questions now. Okay, let me see. Alex said he got to run off to a photo shoot. Good luck, Alex. You're gonna rock it. Okay, my internet is acting up, so I don't know if you answered my question. Yes, so I said I'm not sure if that camera body is a good camera body. I'm not super familiar with the Nikon 3400, but my suggestion is to not worry too much about the camera body. Just figure out which brand you want to go with and learn it in manual and stick with it from there. Okay, Taylor asked, do you do a same day slideshow? I don't. And does that help your workflow after? If so, nope, I don't do that. It's too much. I think for my clients, it just makes the day really like about me and my work. And I think it's kind of like it kind of interrupts the reception. So for me, I'm not a fan of same day slideshows for my business. I think it's really cool and I'm impressed that people can do them, but I don't think they work out for what I do and what I offer. Okay, Paulina asked, do you design the albums yourself or do you outsource? I design them myself. From shooting to delivery, do you outsource any of the in-between process? I am going to make a little note about outsourcing. I do outsource some of my editing, Paulina. I will talk about that in my workflow videos because it's kind of involved. For editing, do you do a black and white edit, and what type of pictures suit black and white? I do probably about 10 to 15% of my edits in black and white. And I do that based on just like artistic preference and what I think will look better in black and white. Sometimes when the lighting is really challenging and it's just not flattering for skin tones, I'll do black and white, but most of the time I'm choosing black and white because I think it will just add a level of emotion to the image, or some other image is really similar, but I want to deliver both of them and I want the edits to look different, and so it doesn't look so repetitive in the album. Okay. Joshua asks, after getting deposits, do you pay yourself by a check after separating the taxes and the business percentages? I do pay myself, and that's exactly how it works. So I take away for business expenses and any type of like second shooter or album expenses that I itemize out, and taxes. I just transfer. So my business banking and my personal banking are with the same bank, so I can just transfer it and I don't have to use a check. But that's exactly when you would write yourself a check. So yes. Okay, Jen says, how do you handle print fulfillment from clients that order through the online gallery? So my Pixieset gallery actually handles all the print fulfillment for me. So if they order, let's say like a 5x7, it will go directly to them and I don't have to do it. So I just choose the lab and I choose the settings, and then they deliver it and they pay me for it. So it's pretty great. So I don't have to package it or deliver it or any of that. It's really wonderful. Basically, what's your process with getting paid after putting aside taxes and business money, says Joshua. So after I have paid my business and paid my contractors and taxes, I can go ahead and take those profits and directly put them into my personal bank account. Let's see. Jen asked, do you have your clients pick up their album at your office or do you mail it to them? I mail it to them. What is the safest way to mail the album so it doesn't get lost? I'm pretty sure that like first class mail in the US, like it's insured up to like, I don't know, they have like built-in insurance and it has tracking built in. So I've never had it get lost and it's packaged really well. So if it ever didn't get to someone, I would just call the post office or just replace the order. But a lot of times I just have the gallery or the lab drop ship to my clients because they package it in such a way that doesn't include any pricing or any branding information. So they just send it directly to my client, and then I just make sure that my client got it. So I'll email them and say like, did you get your gallery, and or did you get your final like leather album or linen album or whatever they ordered? Okay, do you crop your images to standard frame sizes? And how do you feel the image looks best? No, I don't. You mean like if I were to crop the image to fit like an 8x10 or any of that? I just leave the crop ratio the way that the camera took it, if that makes sense. How much do you set aside for taxes? That's going to be so specific on your state, your tax bracket, so like your income bracket and what country you live in. So that's based on like what my CPA, what my accountant has told me, just based on how much money I make per year. That's what I set aside. So I don't want to give you a number and you be wrong. So you need to contact someone for your state. It also depends how you file, so like what your business entity is. So that's a really complicated question that I would say definitely contact a professional. Let's see. Taylor asked, do you do any gifting for your wedding clients throughout the process? I do. So I gifted a couple different points. Always, as soon as they book, I send a gift box, and in that box I have, I have to write that down. Sorry, guys. Okay. I send a gift box, and in the box it has like little books for their vows and an artisan candle and some candy and a handwritten note just thanking them for trusting me with their wedding day and that kind of thing. So I think that's all that it has. And I just ship it in a really pretty box, and it's all in my branding colors and that kind of thing. So that's how I welcome my couples to my business. One thing that I'm implementing next year, I'm creating a custom welcome magazine that's going to be like physically printed out, and it's all my work, and it just has like guidance for them to know where to do their engagement session, how they should plan their timeline, just vendor recommendations. It'll be like a whole magazine for Joy Michelle brides. So that's something I'm working on right now that I'm going to be implementing into like 2018. So I think I'll mail that with like some fresh baked cookies or something cute for my brides, but they don't know that yet, so don't tell anyone. Okay, Kristen said, been struggling with how much to charge. When should you up your prices? That's a really hard question. I would say it depends on supply and demand. It depends how many weddings you're booking. If you're booking a lot, I would say every few weddings you need to be increasing. If you're in high demand, you obviously have something awesome to offer. If you're new to the industry, sometimes you can't raise your prices. So that's where having a mentor and having somebody come in and look at your business and your situation personally can be super, super helpful. I know photographers like Jasmine Starr said they raised their wedding collections by, I think, like a couple hundred or $100 every 3 that they booked. So they would book 3, they'd up it, book 3, up it, book 3, up it. So constantly, like, you're incrementally raising your prices, and that kind of helps from people getting priced out really quickly, and maybe they refer to you and you're like $2,000 more expensive this time. So it helps combat that, but that's super personal. It depends where you are and how your business is growing. But I would love to talk to you, Kristen. I do mentoring, so not saying you have to work with me, but find a business mentor for sure. All right, Nim Ann says, how do you get comfortable with posing and capturing candid moments? I know there are courses out there, but are there less expensive options? Yes, there are less expensive options. Let me see. I have a book in here somewhere that I'm sure I could show you. It talks a lot about posing, actually. Let me see if I can find it. Hang tight, guys. So I recommend Fine Art Weddings. This is Jeff Kent and Jose Villa wrote this together. So Fine Art Weddings is good for running your business, like running a fine art business. But yes, I think this is it. So Picture Perfect Practice is really good with posing. Let me double check. Yeah. Okay, let me flip the camera for you. So this is by Roberto Venezuela, and like the posing and the stuff, it just like, it's incredible. Let me show you. I had this one chapter marked about hands and like where to put hands and how to pose hands, and it was just like pretty incredible in terms of just like using, oh my gosh, like all of this. I can't even make sentences. It's all really good. But this is an incredible book for posing if you don't want to pay a lot for a really expensive course. I know a lot of people have courses out there on that topic. It's hard. It's definitely a difficult thing, but I would say it's something that you get better at with time. Getting comfortable with posing. So I would say get as much practice as you can too. If you take a course, that's one thing, and even reading a book is one thing, but putting it into practice is going to take it to another level for sure. Thank you for answering. You're welcome. Oh, Taylor, you just made a magazine. Did you use a template? Because I know a lot of people use like Caitlin James's design template. Okay, another question. What are your favorite go-to lenses? Most often I have an 85mm on my camera body, a 50mm 1.4, maybe 24 to 70 if it's a wedding day and I just need a lot of versatility. Probably those. Paulina, talking about mentor, I am choosing you. Awesome, Paulina. Thank you. Okay, let's see. I love this. I put a template in your store on your website for a photography magazine, or I'd love to know how you create it. So I will share about that. I'll do a blog post or a video or something once I get the magazine completely finished, I'll share that with you and I'll get you guys a code. My designer who did my brand actually made the magazine, but she said that she would give me a discount code for you guys to like download the whole template and use it in your own businesses. So let me look that up. I think it's like Joy25, I want to say. The designer's name is Ribbon and Ink. So I'll let you guys know when the magazine is done. Okay. What album manufacturers do you recommend? I really like White House Custom Color. What is it? Marshalls? Oh gosh, I'm blanking. I have a bunch of them. So Kiss is really good. I really like Kiss. They kind of have a built-in software. If you're not a designer and you don't have a lot of design software experience, Kiss can be super great as well. Yeah, Miller's. Thank you, Billy. Miller's is what I was thinking because they have so many options for like the different window cutouts, the different like just leather options, linen options, size options. I am like super simple in the options that I offer to my clients though. That helps the workflow to be faster. I love them too, Billy. I only offer square format albums and I only offer leather and linen. So I don't want like metal covers, glass covers. Like the more options I find that you offer to a client, the more like it'll take longer for them to respond and decide, and it's just kind of overwhelming. So I try to keep it really classic. Let's see. What type of page material do you order? I always just do lay flat, thick page, classic albums on like print, like photo paper. So nothing fancy. I don't like texture. I don't like anything out of the ordinary. I just want it to be really, really classic. I can show you guys one of my sample albums if you want to see it. Let's see. This is a linen one, and then you'll see what I mean about it being square. So I only use square like format, and I'll show you. This is the book I'm currently reading. It's really good. All right, so this is the 8x8 linen square album, and then it just lays completely flat. And it's funny, these images were actually just featured by Brides Magazine and brides.com, and this is like the little beaded purse they just featured. So if you kind of see, it's just, it's like a sheen. It looks like, it's just photo paper. Like you can kind of see the sheen. This is a really old album. I've had this for a few years and it still looks really, really beautiful. And sometimes I'll do like full spreads across, and I just try to mix it up. Let's see, Jen says, how many album spreads do you offer? I think base is at least 30 pages or 15 spreads. And I can add up to like 60, I think. It's all on like my pricing sheet, and inside of my contract, it like lays everything out. But if they want to add like a spread or two, it's like $10 or something per spread, or I don't know. I have it all priced out where they can add from there. So wait, I think I missed someone's question. I'm trying to keep it clean and would really love your suggestion. Yeah, so this, let me see. I think this is 30 pages or 15 spreads. Or 15 pages or 30, wow, I don't know. Spreads, pages, a little confusing. You know what I mean. It's not a big album. Okay, Kristen says, when you go to have your first meeting with brides, what are things that you bring? I think I made a video about that. I did. It's like 5 tips for better client consultations. Watch it. I take sample albums, sample contracts. What else? Business card, a notebook, a client consultation worksheet. I give it to you guys for free. I have a download which has like blanks so that I can guide the meeting. So you guys can go download that. If you watch my 5 tips to better client consultation meetings, it's in there. Would love to know the questions that you go through. I just go through basic questions like how many guests are you expecting? What are your colors? Will you be doing a first look? Things like that can give me a really good idea of whether or not this is like a traditional wedding day, and that often leads into more questions. I like to know how people found me, where they'll be going on their honeymoon, how they proposed. I just like to get to know my couples and also get a feel for their wedding day. Let's see. But yeah, I bring an album, I bring like a little leave behind. So I leave like a pamphlet of my work and a blank contract so they know all the terms and that nothing is a surprise. And that's what I leave them after a meeting. Okay, do you think it's necessary to be formally educated in photography? No. No, I think you should learn how to shoot on manual, and classes are wonderful, but that's not necessary to be successful at this at all, no. Let's see. Okay, Kristen said you did, and I printed it. Good job, Kristen. Yeah, I mean, basically everything that I said in that video is how I conduct my meetings. I'll do it over the phone, kind of the same way. Let's see. I have a question. Do you sell the rights to your images for weddings? No, my clients receive personal use rights, which means they can print them and share them, make calendars. They can use it for anything personal, but the copyright remains with me. Okay, how do you as a primary photographer select second shooters? What do you look for? Have you given someone with no experience a chance? Not for weddings. And that sounds bad, but it's actually for the best for my clients and for me. If someone has no experience shooting a wedding, I'm not going to give them a second shooter position because my second shooters are off taking pictures that I will not take. So I'm not going to get the safe shot. I trust them to take the groom's portraits or the getting ready of the guys. So they're not just assisting or they're kind of or like over my shoulder. They have responsibilities. So for a second shooter, I'm not going to let somebody be there who's never worked a wedding before. But what I do look for is somebody who is really, really eager to learn, has a great eye, has some, just a nice person to be around for 8 hours a day, and hopefully who's in my area, has transportation, and Nikon is preferred. And then what else? Yeah, so you need a car, you need a good camera, you need a few different lenses, because I do really expect a lot of my seconds, and I give them like shots to get and not just supplemental shots, if that makes sense. So I really trust them, and they're a part of my team really, and they're representing my brand. So it's very important to me that they do have some wedding experience, but I work with photographers that have less experience at like an engagement session, or I'll hire them as an assistant. Okay, let's see. Someone asked, hi Joy, I wanted to move to full frame and I'm a Nikon fan. Which do you suggest, the D810 or the 750 or mirrorless? I don't have any experience with mirrorless. I recommend, I think, the D750. It's incredible in low light situations. Like the ISO capabilities are out of this world. And the D810 is a great camera, but the file sizes are really huge, I've heard. Just like really huge. Yesena said, what white balance do you use when shooting the reception with flash? Normally I use, let's see, I'll use auto unless it's getting really wonky. Sometimes I'll do Kelvin. You can do like flash setting or like tungsten, but honestly my cameras are pretty good at nailing the white balance in camera on auto. Okay, someone said, thanks Joy for sharing everything you know in photography. You're welcome. Do you submit all your weddings for publication after you've delivered to clients? No, I don't submit all of them just because I don't have time. It's super time consuming. Do you have tips for publishing or how to get published on blogs or magazines? I do. I made a video about this as well. Do you have a question? Like, have you seen that video? I have a, like how to get your work published and how to find clients in your first year. I made that video and it has a whole guide for getting published included in it, like a checklist. But if you have like a question that maybe I didn't cover, because I'm sure I forgot some things, it was a quick video. But I do have tips in that video. I talk about how I talk to publishers and editors and all of that. You are one of the nicest photographers I have ever seen on the web. Aw, thank you. Thanks for answering questions. I look forward to seeing your videos. Can I friend you on Facebook? Sure. Yeah, I have a Facebook page, Joy Michelle Photography, and a personal page as well. So come find me guys on Instagram as well. It's Joy Michelle with 2 Y's. So Joyy Michelle. Tips with Trina. Hi, Trina. I'm excited you're here and caught me live. You don't even know. Okay, let's see. No, it wasn't that long ago. Okay, my phone is about to die, guys. So if this dies, that's why. That's why I just jump off the internet. Would you have someone interested to second shoot, be an assistant first to gain experience? Yeah, definitely. So I would say do styled shoots, get some weddings under your portfolio as an assistant, and just try to get some of your own weddings, because it really helps me, even if the weddings were small or for a family member, to know that you kind of get how a wedding goes or what's expected and like the time constraints of a wedding day and that kind of thing. Okay, to avoid shadows between people when shooting group. How to avoid shadows between people when doing group shots with flash? I think I know what you're saying. So I would do like a flash on camera, and then I would do one flash off camera with an umbrella, so that kind of like fills the shadows, so it like comes sideways and it comes forward, if that makes sense. So I try to bounce it basically and have multiple flash sources. Getting super technical over here, guys. Okay, would love to know your posting schedule for social media accounts. Oh, that's a good question. Workflow. But seriously, guys, my phone is actually about to die. Let me write this down. Social media schedule. We will cover this in my video, guys. I'm going to be doing a video all about my workflow. That's a really good question, Kristen. Thank you. Someone said, thanks for your valuable input. What should be your go-to lens? My go-to lens is the 85mm 1.4, always. Will this be available to watch later? I have to go to camera, leave it up. What I'm thinking is, for my replays for my lives, I'm actually just gonna have them be available to my mailing list. So I want my mailing list to have access to like my best and most interesting tips. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make all of my live videos private, and they're just gonna be for my mailing list crew, which is free, so you can get on my mailing list and you'll be able to watch replays there. All right, and I think any of your suggestions written down here, and I'm gonna go ahead and go film. Oh, this is your first live chat. Awesome. Arvind. Is your name Arvind? I'm so sorry, I butcher names so bad. Awesome, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go film this. We are going to be talking about workflow from booking to delivery